their head. Yes, right now, you can give them the business. To me, I think it's all fair and game when you do something this silly, and you get caught. I mean, you're over there. Ain't no telling what y'all were getting for free anyway. You didn't have to pay for the trip. Because I'm gonna assume that the other two guys, I know LeAngelo is, but I'm gonna assume the other two guys, are on scholarship. You didn't have to pay for the trip. You didn't have to pay for the hotel. The clothes that you got, you didn't have to pay. I'm sure they took you around, on trips and go visit stuff. You didn't have to pay for that. So you got to be smart, but you got to give them an opportunity. So I'm gonna give them an opportunity. We will remember this. It will be a little. I'm sure as time goes on, it'll be a little joke. But at least they are back. And the other thing is they are suspended indefinitely, for these actions, which I think is fair. And I think it was the right thing to do. The last thing that you want to show these kids is that after all that, they're going to still be able to play basketball. No, you got to take that from them, even no matter who it is. You're going to have to sit. You're going to have to sit on the sideline. You're going to have to watch. You're not going to be able to dress. You're not going to be able to, go on the road at home games. You're not going to be dressed. You're going to be sitting in your regular clothes and you're going to watch your teammates. And if we struggle, you got to own up to that. You got to take that responsibility that if I was out there, I would be able to help my teammates. And you did not do what you were supposed to do to make sure you were there for your teammates. So this is their punishment as well. But we have to give them the opportunity to prove themselves. We cannot hold this totally over their head for the rest of their life or for the entire season or however way, some people do to make themselves feel better about themselves. But I hope they have learned their lesson. I hope they see the magnitude of what this thing, could have been. And I hope they realize how lucky they were. Because if you were over there stealing and not on a D1, big time, a historical D1 college basketball team and got the president making calls, might have turned out a little bit different. So I hope these young gentlemen learn, from this, and they will never have to ever experience this ever again. I hope so. So we're going to move out of college basketball. We're going to get a little too, I told you at the beginning of the show, we're going to get into a little boxing MMA. So we're going to get into that as well. And shouts out to my man, DJ Knox, who just joined in, listening to the Wait a Minute show. And he just joined in the Wait a Minute show chat room. Have y'all heard Oscar De La Hoya is in the news? And you may say, what is he talking about? I'm going to tell you what he's talking about. Oscar De La Hoya is throwing little hints out there that he want a piece of Conor McGregor. Now, when I saw this, I just immediately really, please. Oscar has been out of the boxing game for 10 years. Now, don't get me wrong. A professional boxer is a professional boxer. He still know how to throw them hands. But you've been out of the game for 10 years. That was one thing. Second thing, he talking about all he needs is 2 rounds. 2 rounds to do what? Well, I mean, 2 rounds to do what? You've already seen that he can take a punch. I mean, in MMA and in boxing. I said this. So we know you're not going to come out there and just, start throwing hands. You're going to tire yourself out. 2 rounds. No. The other thing about this that threw me for a loop. Why are you even speaking about Conor McGregor? You are the same person who was downplaying the Mayweather-McGregor fight about it was being disrespectful. Now you want a piece of McGregor? So, I mean, to me, You doing the same thing Floyd did. Ain't nobody lining up to see Oscar De La Hoya fight no more. I'm sorry, but that's what it is. But it's a payday. It's a payday. We're going to see if Conor can beat a professional boxer. But we're going to see if Conor can beat a guy that hasn't fought in 10 years. Nobody wants to see that. You're not going to get any pay-per-view numbers. If anything, you're going to have to definitely put it on cable television so everybody can watch it. But why would you even hint at that? You know, maybe it's underlined with something else that he's trying to, get out there. But that's like the pot calling the kettle black, basically. He said he wanted a piece of Conor. He said he always got the competitive juice, basically, to box. To me, if you was going to do that, maybe you fight someone else that maybe people would, want to see. Maybe, I don't know, Shane Mosley. I don't know if Shane Mosley would come out of retirement, but not Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor ain't going to give you the time of day because he ain't finna make the money off you like he made off of Floyd. That's another reason. It's got to be worth Conor time. So he'll probably just ignore him, But shouts out to my man JB Jennings in the building and Rough Buff, a.k.a. Fuquan Shabazz. Thank you for joining into the Wait a Minute Show chat room. But we were talking about Oscar De La Hoya over here hinting about fighting Conor McGregor, and he's saying that he only needs 2 rounds. That is it. Just ridiculous. I actually would, if that fight actually went down, I would put my money on Conor. Because I believe that Oscar would come out and he would try to just throw them hands and knock him out, and he would tire himself out, and it'll be the reverse. It'll be the reverse. I think Conor would learn, and Oscar would be the one to get tired, and then Conor would beat him. And then now it looks really bad. So I'm hoping this is just, him throwing that out there, trying to market something else or trying to get something else, because no one wants to see that. No one wants to see Oscar De La Hoya in the ring fighting. I don't want to see Bernard Hopkins. I don't want to see any of these former boxers. I didn't even want to see the Floyd thing, really. It was something that people talked about, and because they put it together, people were like, all right, I'm going to watch it. No, Oscar, please don't do it. Please, and I hope it's a joke. Definitely keep it as a joke. Because if it's true, it's not going to end good for you, sir. I don't think so. I would put Conor, in this. And matter of fact, if this thing continues, I'll do y'all a solid on this one. If this talk continues and it even gain legs and it look like it's going to actually happen, I'm going to definitely get the Mad Barber on here to talk about this, because no, that's all I can say. No. It just doesn't make any sense, So we're going to get off that, and then we're going to change up, the situation. We're going to change up topics, and we're going to get back into college, but we're going to get back into college football. But before that, we're going to take a break, come back, and then we'll talk about these playoff rankings. Yeah, somebody done made some moves, and somebody happy. So we'll be right back after these messages.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I am Vince Wright, the sports governor, and you know me from the Sports Done Right show. But when I'm not doing Sports Done Right, I'm in the executive mansion chilling with the Wait a Minute show. That's right, Jelani, Lopan, indeed. Keep it tuned here, y'all. The Wait a Minute show. My name is Vince Wright, and I approve this message.
Hey, what's up, sports fans? You're looking for a different type of sports talk show, something you haven't heard before? You got to check out the BS3 Sports Show every other Saturday on 2 Live Stews Radio. 1 p.m. Central Time, 2 p.m. Eastern. Sports talk at its finest. Always have great guests, playing some good hip-hop. You don't want to miss it. Make sure to tune in to the BS3 Sports Show every other Saturday at 1 p.m. Central Time, 2 p.m. Eastern.
Yo, this is your boy Keith C from the
Kicking It With Keith C show.
When I want to jam, I'm jamming with Queen Josie and DJ New as they're kicking those vibes.
We don't take orders from super fools. We give them.
Give it to you.
Any and all resistance will crumble. Nonsense. There's never been a threat couldn't handle. It is the purpose of the to align our infamous forces against the powers of good and defeat them, leaving us, the rulers of the world.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back once again. It is your man, Jelani JB Bodie, and
it's the Wait a Minute show.
And my man, Lopan, is also in here. Indeed. And we are talking college football in this top 10. And actually, really, we're going to probably worry about the 4. But we're going to cover, the top 10 schools. But before we do that, make sure, ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to tonight's show, but there is a second show. Saturdays at 8 p.m. Make sure you go to the waitaminuteshow.com and make sure you follow on Facebook and Twitter, because then, just like now, when we go live 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Saturdays, you will get a notification, and also you can get in on that show as well. So the Wait a Minute show comes to you on Wednesdays and Saturdays. So tonight we're on the Two Live Stews Radio Network, and then we'll be on the waitaminuteshow.com on Saturdays as well. So make sure you jump on to that. So like we were talking about before the break, we were going to get into some of this college football. So I'm going to touch on this, and we'll cover the bottom 5 really quick. We really want to talk about top 5. So some big games that went down, over the weekend that basically shook up this whole, ranking system. And Penn State and Ohio State is bringing in the rear. Penn State is 9. Penn State is 10. Ohio State is 9. Which makes sense because both of them are 8-2, and between the two, Ohio State beat Penn State, so we'll see why they got the edge. Now, the biggest thing is Notre Dame. Notre Dame also 8-2. They took a beat down this past Saturday to Mocha Bella's, the University of Miami, the U, and they lost a close game to Georgia as well. So those two losses got them in the 8th. They were 3rd last week, and they dropped 5 spots down to the 8th spot. So makes sense, on there. And also another team that took a beat down that joined them is the University of Georgia Bulldogs. Yes, they number 1, and they went into Auburn, and I talked about it on the show. I said that, it looked like, I talked about Kirby Smart being at Alabama, being, used to being the hunted and having these kids ready and everything. And they went out there, and when it started off in probably the first half of the first quarter, something just didn't feel right. Something just didn't look right. And I said, they may be in trouble. And they got handled, and they got mangled, out there on the road at Auburn. And I said, wow, Georgia seems like it's always something, slips up or anything, something like that. Just something. It's always something that comes up where they're in the driver's seat, to make some noise and really do some things. And something always comes up. And it was Auburn. So they dropped all the way from number 1 to 7. I mean, they took a beat down because Auburn was number 10, and Auburn jumped from 10 to 6. So now Auburn at 8-2. Georgia is at 9-1. So, of course, that makes sense. Auburn gets the nod a little bit over Georgia because of the beat down. So now we get into this top 5. Top 5. We're going to go with Wisconsin at this point. Wisconsin is 10-0. And